Ernie McCook, who's been at Shepherd for a long, long time, 6 years as the head coach, joining us here on the CHGO Bears podcast. Coach, thank you for taking time. We appreciate it.
Hey, it's good to be with you guys.
I'm guessing that Tyson Bagent's success to this point, I mean, we're not, he's not in the Hall of Fame quite yet, but he had quite a preseason game, is not a surprise to you. Is that fair?
You know what? I have a lot of respect for the NFL, and I know how hard it is to play at that level. It's not a surprise for me with Tyson. I would never bet against him, but I know it's what he's accomplishing is something that isn't seen all the time.
So, Coach, again, we realize that what happened Saturday in Indianapolis, it's a preseason game. Everything you take with a grain of salt, but I couldn't help but be impressed because that was really our first good look at him outside of practice and just how he operated the offense. I'm sure, again, preseason, they probably pared things down for him a little bit, but, putting guys in motion, using the motion to read the defense pre-snap, post-snap decisions, he just looked calm doing it. I couldn't help but be impressed. I'm assuming that's the quarterback you know well.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyson he's been preparing that way to be able to handle that moment from his freshman year, probably in his high school years. The guy is very committed to his preparation to be the best player he can be physically and also mentally. He is a film room junkie. He is a football junkie. He will study it. He'll know it. He'll find every tool he can to improve his knowledge of the game and master the playbook. I know for a fact how hard he worked on it from his OTAs through the summer for when he returned to camp there in late July. I know he spent some time with some of his former teammates in his preparation. So it's kind of cool for me knowing how hard he worked in June and through the beginning of July to see him execute and perform so well in the preseason game.
Coach, when I watched that NFL Network, bit they did on Tyson and you were involved in it, the thing that really stood out to me that I had a lot of respect for was when he talked about how he bet on himself and he wasn't going to go off somewhere else, and he wanted to work a little harder than everybody else to make it. And then he does. He's here now. What was that process like for you as a head coach, knowing he has this great talent and, what's best for him, maybe to go somewhere else or stay there and play the way he did and now end up where he is now?
Well, Tyson demonstrated his first year as a starter here as a true freshman. And after that season, I realized it's my job to put as many good players around him as possible because I had a special player in Tyson Bagent. And as he went through his career, his sophomore and his junior year with COVID and kind of in the middle of that, winning the Harlan Hill, having the opportunity where the way the transfer portal played out, he and I sat down and he told me, he says, Coach, I want to go in the portal to see what's out there for me. And he said, I'm not going to go for anything other than something that's spectacular. And he had a couple offers that I thought were some really good programs, but he opted to stay at Shepherd, finish his degree, and play his final year with us. That's just a credit to who he is. He's a pretty grounded young man. It's not about him. He's a team guy. And he'll do his best to lift everybody up around him.
518 yards in his first game, Ernie. I mean, you're sitting there. You were an assistant at Shepherd forever. Now you're the head coach. And I'm sure you maybe had some belief that he was going to be all right. But 518 is insane.
Yeah, that was against one of the top 5 teams in the country, Notre Dame College in Ohio. And it was a game that we went down and it had a chance for a 2-point conversion to go to overtime. But yeah, he lit it up his first game and with passing yards and attempts. But I guarantee if you talk to him about that first game, there's other either missed opportunities that he would bring up, and that's the kind of stuff I think he, it's his things that he's not successful with, or ways he does the way he wouldn't be able to find a way to win for the team. And the guy is remarkable. You talk about the different NFL Network things. I said, before the draft, I said, don't sleep on him and don't miss him like some of the Division I schools did. He is a BCS type talent as a college player. That's what he was. We were fortunate enough that he grew up in Shepherdstown. His parents went to school at Shepherd. He wanted to be close to his mom, his dad, his siblings. I mean, a very tight knit family. His grandparents. So I think we benefited from that at Shepherd, and we just needed to make sure we took a full advantage having what I think is the best player to ever play Division II football.
Yeah, Coach, I want to hit on that with you because we've heard about how he certainly had some opportunities to go to a D1 program and transfer late in his career. He decided to stay with you guys. We heard about how Northwestern was one of those schools that was interested locally here in Chicago. It's kind of painful to think about because I think they definitely could have used them.
Yeah.
But what was that process like for you? And I mean, did you guys think you were going to lose them? And then in the end, what did you learn just from that process and his decision to, I don't know if loyal's the right word, but stay with you guys and finish and get his degree?
I've had a chance to kind of reflect on that whole process with Tyson and one of our offensive linemen that's with the 49ers, Joey Fisher. And both those guys would have had opportunities to transfer to Division I programs, opted to stay. They both found roads to the NFL. When Tyson was going through it, I've had a great relationship with Tyson. I've watched him grow up. So our families went to church together, so I'm very familiar with him. So I was very supportive of him. And, when he and I sat down, he told me what he was doing. I said, just keep me in the loop. And after each one of his visits, it was like I was high school coach talking about how the visit went and how he would fit in. And I was very torn at that part because I wanted to keep him at Shepherd. But I also didn't by any means want to keep him from fulfilling a lifelong dream that he may have had or what he felt he needed to do. His decision that he made was him, his family, to stay at Shepherd. And once he did, obviously I mean, that was a pretty cool moment. Going through it, my son and him are roommates. And so, I would call my son up like, hey, man, what do you think? And he goes, Dad, he really liked the last visit. I don't know, man. It's not good. Might not go our way. So it was like 10 o'clock, whatever night he decided. Like I want to say like a Monday night or a Sunday night. I think it was a Sunday night. And I'm laying in bed watching TV with my wife, and my phone rings, and it's Tyson. And I was like, oh man, here we go. Pick it up, and he says, hey, Coach, you awake? I said, yeah, I'm awake, 100%. And he said, I just wanted to let you know what I'm deciding to do. And my heart still pumped, kind of races thinking about it. He said, I'm going to stay at Shepherd. I'm going to pull myself out of the portal tomorrow morning. I said, Tyson, are you sure that's what you want to do? He goes, absolutely. And he goes, I feel like I've had the world, lifted off his shoulders. And I said, all right, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Go to the compliance office. We'll get that taken care of. Well, we get a snowstorm on Monday and the school closes. So needless to say, I'm 24 hours like, come on, man, what's going on? Tuesday, we're opened up. I'm sitting in our offense coordinator's office. Tyson comes bouncing in, like happy to see each other. Everybody's, just dapping each other up. And I said, Tyson, have you been to the compliance office yet? And he goes, yeah, I forgot. I said, hey, come on, I'll walk down the hall with you and we'll take care of this. So I can remember it all. But, the kid, when you think about Tyson Bagent, man, you are the city of Chicago, the fan base of Chicago is getting a grounded, hard worker that will compete at the highest level and will prepare to win as many football games as he can help his team win. If it's on the practice squad, I guarantee he's going to give the Chicago defense the best look they can possibly have. If it's as a backup, I guarantee he's going to be ready to go in if he's needed to go in and play. The kid prepares harder than any football player I have ever witnessed, and he was a professional as a freshman in college.
Well, Coach, I got super excited watching him that I created a song for him, which is Secret Bagent. Man, I won't sing it for you, but it's really good.
You'll have to watch the clip. It's something.
I recommend not watching.
I mean, I just one line is that the odds are if you're open, he will find you, and it seems like he sees the field incredibly well. That's what we witnessed, and I'm interested to learn about three offensive coordinators, right, in his career. So how did that, what different looks was he doing as far as what he had to learn each year?
Well, each one of the offense coordinators, it really came at the right time. Coach Ty Hyatt, who's the offense coordinator now at Southern Utah, did a great job in developing Tyson as a freshman in college and sophomore year, kind of taking us into COVID. With that, I'm going to give you this. Here's a typical Tyson Bagent story. So Tyson and Coach Hyatt are watching film. I think it's his freshman or sophomore year in the summertime. Coach Hyatt says to him, "Hey man, I'm going to the beach for a week, so we won't be able to watch any film next week. So let's catch up when I get back." So Coach Hyatt leaves. He goes home. He's packing his bag. Tyson calls him. He goes, "Coach, I'm not going to see you all next week." And Coach Hyatt says, "Yeah, that's true." He goes, "Can I come over tonight and get some more film in before you leave?" And, of course, Coach Hyatt, professional football guy, said, "Come on over." His wife made dinner for him, and I think they watched film probably till 11 or 12 at night. But that's the mindset this guy has. He is going to prepare to do the best he can be. And to have a 18 or 19-year-old guy worry about watching film in June and July, and it's important to him to get the time in the film room during that time when most people are jet skiing and vacationing, that speaks to who he was as a young kid, as a young player. And he's doing the same thing as he prepares to play at the professional level in the NFL. He's going to prepare just the way he is. Coach Carell, his next offense coordinator, was, really get it out there, put pressure on the defense. They had a tremendous relationship. Coach Carell and Tyson's dad are real close friends, and he was very instrumental in Tyson's development through high school and into college. And then the last one was Tyler Haynes, who I think did a great job of helping Tyson understand coverages, how to read coverages, things to look for, and stuff like that. So even though he had three different offense coordinators, the offense was very much the same, and he had an opportunity to grow. Sorry about that.
No. I was stealing my guy Greg here. I just want to know if the offense was basically the same, which you just said. So
offense is 100%. For the time before I became the head coach, I was the offensive coordinator, and we've just carried this offense on. So the foundation of the offense was very consistent. Each coordinator maybe tweaked some things to make it fit who they are, but for the learning purposes, it was the coordinator that was learning the offense to fit and bring what they could to it.
You talk about he prepares as good as any player you've ever seen, and you mentioned the practice squad, but there's a bit of a quarterback competition brewing for that QB2 spot with Tyson playing as well as he has. If it were you as a head coach, what do you think would be best for his development? To be a guy that sits behind a backup veteran, or be the second quarterback, and if Fields had to come out for a series or a game, that he'd be ready to play right away?
I had a chance watching Tyson through the Senior Bowl and his preparation kind of going into the draft and really paying it, like Tyson he's on campus when he's in town. And so we're talking about his experience in OTAs and, for me, man, that's he needs to be in the NFL. That's what I'm going to tell you. He needs, and this is what I told every scout that came in here. You decide, I'm going to let the Chicago Bears decide where he should be, but they're never going to be disappointed having Tyson Bagent come into their facility every day as an employee. And I personally think he could be the number 2 guy, and I would have complete confidence in it.
What's interesting about when I look at his college career, Coach, Bill Parcells had his rules for drafting a quarterback, and the list is all these things that basically don't happen anymore. Be a 3-year starter, be a senior, graduate, start at least 30 games, win at least 23 games. complete at least 60% of your passes. We see all these quarterbacks come in now and get drafted with 13 starts in college, and the traits are unbelievable. I get it, but it's just. I mean, Tyson Bagent checks every one of those boxes, and I'm just. Were you a little surprised that when it was all said and done, 14 quarterbacks got drafted this year, and he wasn't one of them? It surprised me.
I was 100% shocked. Because 100% I was disappointed. Obviously, we wanted to see Tyson get his name called in the draft board, and but I also, once you get into the later rounds, you're going to sign with who really wants you instead of who's just taking you. I think the fact that the offense coordinator for the Bears was his coach at the Senior Bowl, I think they developed somewhat of a relationship there. He knew who Tyson was when they signed him, and I'm thrilled that he's playing with the Chicago Bears right now. And I really hope in the next 8 days he's a Bear for this upcoming football season.
Did Luke talk to you a bunch, Coach, or did Ryan Poles talk to you?
No, well, they had multiple scouts come out, and so their scouts did a tremendous job. In fact, the first scout that came out, and I don't know if he's still with the Bears or not, and I'm sorry his name, but he was right away like, this is a guy that fits who we are. He can do a lot of the same things that Justin Fields can do, and it kind of fits that mold. So if it works out and the Bears are happy with Tyson and he ends up having a solid career, whoever that first scout was I believe jumping on the table for him. And I think Tyson obviously did a good job with Luke down in Mobile.
So it's interesting that you say that about that he can do what Fields does, because we get in the stereotype game. Oh, the black quarterback super athletic, the white guy can't really run, but he can throw. But you're saying that maybe underrated athleticness for Tyson.
Well, he's got tremendous athleticism. He's a great athlete. He can do all kinds of athletic things that you just don't see. I know what a tremendous athlete he is, and he can do the same things, I believe, that any of the quarterbacks in the NFL can do.
Coach,
I'm excited. Let's go.
I'm gonna have to. All of a sudden, I'm excited for Shepherd football. Where are you guys at? Where you guys got to be raring to go here? I appreciate your time, by the way, because you're jumping into football season here.
You've got his brother on the team, right? He's a freshman quarterback.
Yeah. Ezra is a freshman with us, and so that's pretty awesome. My family and I have had a great relationship with Tyson and his family, so we go to the same church. I'm going to give you this story. I love telling this story if you got time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're recruiting Tyson, and of course this is Christmas Eve. My family and I were showing up. We show up a little bit later, walk in. We got to sit in the back of the church, and I'm like, man, I know Tyson's here. We have offered him. He hadn't committed yet. So I sat there and I was looking around, and I see his dad. I don't know if you met his dad. His dad is a outgoing personality, world champion arm wrestler, really big dude. And I look up and I see his dad, and then I see Tyson. And I see the pew behind him is empty. So we're standing up for a hymnal. Hymnal ends. I just walk out of the pew with my family, walk down the middle of the church, and I slide right in the pew behind him. And I put my arms around his dad and Tyson. I go, hey, God meant for us to be together, And his dad had a great one-liner coming back. He goes, man, it's about time you got here. We've been holding that pew for you for 20 minutes. So we had a lot of fun with that. And our priest, he absolutely laughed. He goes, I was wondering what the heck you were doing walking up towards the altar at that time. And then when I sat down next to Tyson, he knew exactly what I was doing, recruiting him. You know what? I'm a big Tyson Bagent fan. The kid's poise that he has, you mentioned that list that Bill Parcells has. I think Tyson Bagent checks every box of what it takes to be great, except for he played at a Division II school. That's the thing. And he's been a remarkable guy for us for 5 years. He FaceTimed our team the other night. He knew when our team meeting was. He gets on FaceTime, tells them how much he misses them, how much he is rooting for us. the whole deal. So it's a pretty cool connection. We've got Saturday off because they're going to this weekend. I thought about catching a flight coming to Chicago and watching the guy play. So I'll be watching on TV though.
Coach, you get up here. We got places for you to eat, so we got a great studio here too, and Chicago's a great place. You should. At some point, you got to get up here. Come on in.
You know what? I will be there, 100%. If the Bears do what I think is a good franchise decision for them, take care of my guy Tyson. You'll definitely see the McCook family in Chicago for multiple times.
Well, I got to say, based on everything you're saying here and how much they loved him, how much that scout, and we're going to find out who that scout is. I'm going to find out, make sure all the Bears fans know who it is and give them the proper credit. It doesn't sound like a guy that they're ready to waive and possibly lose just to get to the practice squad even. So,
and if you could help send the video of Mark singing his Secret Bagent Man song over to him.
Ernie, I'll send it over to Chip. We'll get it in the ether here.
Hey, have you guys had have you met you wait till you meet his dad?
Yeah.
His dad, I'm sure you saw the NFL Network stuff with his dad. If you did, you need to look that up. His dad is a great personality, and it's kind of a lot of fun, just with him and the family. And I tell you, he's just they're a great group.
They seem like a confident bunch.
Well, that's you know what I tell our football team. There's arrogance and there's confidence.
Yep.
Confidence comes from great preparation, and Tyson Bagent prepares better than I bet you he prepares better than anybody. And this is me talking. I'm his big fan, but I've watched him prepare for 5 years. I guarantee he prepares to play the game of football as hard or harder than anybody on any roster in the NFL. He reminds me of what I've heard about a Drew Brees type player.
Wow. Ernie McCook,
Love
this is
it.
awesome. Great to talk to you. Good luck on the season, and hey, let's catch up down the line as the career goes along. Or we'll have you review some of the film hopefully when he gets out there someday.
Hey, it was fun. I had a cookout with our coaches and on Saturday, so I was sitting outside while Tyson was playing, and I had about 25 people in our living room watching the game. And when he scored the touchdown, the freaking neighborhood exploded. So everybody was watching, and it's we're excited for him, and we're excited for the Chicago Bears, and we're rooting for the San Francisco 49ers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got guys on all three rosters right now.
Well, it sounds like you guys are doing some great things at Shepherd, getting guys in the NFL like that. So best of luck to you this season. Hopefully we'll talk down the line here shortly.
Thank you, guys. It was a lot of fun. Go Bears.